Good morning, baseball. It is your boy NMR Sports here, joined by my lovely co-host Franklin P. Helmstetter. We've got the plants in bags once again. Look at it, man. Love to see it. Love to
They're
see you
bagged
keeping your
up.
plants fresh, just like Subway, man. Just got to eat those. You got to keep those plants fresh. That's their saying, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You watch any baseball games lately, Frank? How have you been? We missed you in the last episode.
Dude, I've been good. Yeah, I've been really busy with moving and stuff, and been crazy. But yeah, I've been trying to keep up with baseball. Seen some interesting things that I think would be great to talk about. I'm excited,
Yeah,
man.
we
Let's
got
get into it, man.
a pretty good slate today for not a full slate of games. So a lot of good
Yeah.
storylines. Shout out to Thrive Fantasy real quick. Look at this fire merch they sent me. Nice T-shirt here. It's a nice T-shirt too. It's one of those that like doesn't make you look like as overweight as you are. It's a good T-shirt, man. Love the swag.
There you go.
Shout out to Thrive Fantasy, one of the sponsors of this YouTube channel. Go ahead and use promo code NMR when you sign up for daily fantasy props. They'll match your first deposit up to $100, and then they'll also give you some free contest entries. Two $20 contest entries for a $10 deposit, and then 4 for a $100 deposit. It's a good deal, man. It's a good deal. So go on Thrive, get some money, and yeah, let's get into start talking about some of these games that happened last night. As you can hear, I am a little bit under the weather. My voice is kind of gone, so bear with me. I'm going to try my best. But first of all, we'll start off with our Halos. Heartbreaking loss in extra innings. 3-2 loss to the Houston Astros. Aaron Loop getting the L on that with the ghost runner, unfortunately. Brewers and Giants are actually still tied 2-2 while we're recording this. It's 12:41 a.m. on the East Coast, and the game's still not over. So, say about that what you will. Pirates lose to the Marlins in extra innings, 3-2 victory for the Marlins. Padres, 8-5 loss to the Colorado Rockies over in Coors. Braves get a 5-4 victory over the Washington Nationals. Reds beat the Yankees again, 7-6 victory for the Cincinnati Reds. The Kansas City Anti-Vaxxers, 3-1 over the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Cleveland Guardians, 4-0 over the Detroit Tigers. Tampa Bay Rays finish off a 4-game sweep of the Red Sox, 5-4. Dodgers beat the Cardinals 4-0. What's his name? Tyler Anderson getting his 10th win of the year already. That dude's just good at winning ball games. It's kind of easy when you're on the Dodgers, though, I feel like. Next up, we got the White Sox clobbering the Twins 12-2. Finished with a mercy rule there. Love to see it. Mets beat the Cubs 8-0. And then the Seattle Mariners, man. As you can see down here, we themed this episode around them. I probably put it in the thumbnail. I haven't made it yet. I don't know. Red hot, man. 6-5 victory over the Texas Rangers. They got off to an early 4-0 deficit and just clawed their way back in. 11th straight victory for them. Now, that's actually going to lead us into our first topic where I finally let Frank talk. That is the Seattle Mariners, 11-game winning streak. How impressed are you with this winning streak? I mean, it's obviously 11 games is hard to do, even if you're playing, the A's and the Angels and all these terrible teams. They've been playing the Oakland A's, the worst team in baseball, the Padres with a bunch of injuries, the Blue Jays, who have just been on an awful struggling streak right now, and then the Washington Nationals, and then the Texas Rangers. So how impressed are you with this 11-game winning streak? What do you have to say?
I think if I had to put it into like comparatively, like if I would be equally as impressed with like probably half of that size of a winning streak if it were teams like the Yankees or the Astros or something like that. So I don't want to I think it's impressive regardless, but like you said, there's some elements of it that I think definitely bode well for them to win those ball games. But like I think they're just kind of showing up like people thought they would. I definitely pin them to be a favorite for second in the AL West. So I think that's really just them showing up and kind of finally clicking in the way that a lot of people expected them to. So I don't know. I'm pretty impressed though. Like I want to give them credit. Like I think it's great that they've won 11 games straight. That's a great feat. I am really interested to see how they play out with a series coming up. If there's I'm not really sure their schedule, but if there's more quote unquote difficult series, then that'd be really interesting to see if they can maintain this production. Even winning those series would be impressive. I mean, I don't necessarily expect them to continue to just streak, but winning those series would be really clutch for them. So There's a lot of hope in Seattle, man. I mean, just I'm about to leave here, but I can, I have a lot of people that are fans, so it's palpable in the air. People are kind of excited that the team's finally playing pretty well. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
man. I'm a pretty vocal hater of the Mariners. It's sort of like a jealousy hate now. I've never really hated them until they started playing well. Like the second half of last year, man. I have a couple of close Mariners fan friends that I really like, and they're cool. But the Mariners fan base as a whole, like you remember the games we went to when I was visiting out there, man. They're a rough fan base. Like they just come out of the woodworks and they're kind of mean. I mean, I guess I'd be bitter too for the 20-year playoff drought, and I probably will be when the Angels are in the same boat 10 years from now. But got to give them credit,
yeah,
man. 11 games is difficult to do. Shit hits the fan sometimes. You can't really control that, and we've seen that plenty of times with the Angels. So
yeah,
good for them, man. Good for them. And out
yeah.
of these teams, I would say I'm not like, you know, like you said, if it was like a 6-game winning streak against the Yankees and Astros, I'd probably be a little more impressed. But still, 11-game winning streak, man. That's
Yeah,
it's an 11-game. Any
it's
double-digit
good.
winning
Yeah,
streak is going to be a damn impressive feat. So
absolutely. Yeah.
we got another team going on a little winning streak here, and that is the team. I think I cut this out of the shop, but I got my raise up towel out here. My inevitable bandwagon team because it's my local squad. The Rays finished off a 4-game sweep of the Boston Red Sox, as we talked about in the intro. They've just been playing great baseball, and I saw a stat on Twitter. They have 17 players on the injured list currently. That is a franchise record. And coming into the season, you look at this roster, and it's still not that impressive. And they were one of the most injured teams in baseball. Gotta give props to Kevin Cash, man. At this moment, what do you think? Do you think he is the favorite to win Manager of the Year? There's a lot of good teams in the American League, but I think this is damn impressive. What do you think?
Yeah, well, we've had discussions. Well, first of all, I've always liked Kevin Cash personally. I don't know what it is. I just think he's a great manager. I'd love if he was managing a team like the Angels. That would be awesome. But regardless, I think we've had discussions before about how there's some managers where it's pretty evident that their presence isn't necessarily like make or breaking the success or not success of a team. But in the case of the Rays, man, like you said, you got 17 people, which is crazy, on the IL with a roster that kind of looks lackluster to begin with at the beginning of the year. So for them to be, 9 games over 500, playing very well, really good baseball right now, second place in one of the toughest division in baseball, is damn impressive. So I think you got to give credit to Kevin Cash for kind of, playing the cards that he's dealt in the most optimal way possible. And this is like evidence. This is an instance in which a manager is making a difference for sure. I think if you threw a guy in there, like, I don't know, like, let's just say Tony La Russa. I don't know. I pick a name out of a hat. Someone like him,
Just throwing names out there.
Yeah, no, that was random. I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but regardless, if you threw someone like La Russa in there, yeah, no, I got you. I don't think it would be the same result. So
I don't think
it's
they'd be
definitely
even close to a playoff team.
no, absolutely not. So Cash is great, man. I definitely think he's a contender for Manager of the Year. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's impressive to do it so so many years in a row. The Rays have just been a powerhouse lately with like I can't even say a fourth of like what the Yankees are putting out there talent wise, on paper at least. But they just find a way, man. He is very good at managing that bullpen. They turn into no names into superstars overnight, and then they sell high on all these guys. It's pretty impressive. Like I said, 17 players on the injured list, but they they just keep winning. That's the tweet I'm reading right now. They can't be stopped, man. I picked them to win the division this year, and the Yankees are struggling. I know it's still like a 14-game lead, but you never know, man. The Tampa Bay Rays, raise up, baby. We'll have to see.
Yep.
I think they finished second in this division.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid prediction. Moving on to another team in the AL East. The storyline of this series has been the Royals and all their unvaccinated players. The biggest story out of that was, I believe it was either, I think it was Whit Merrifield, saying like, yeah, maybe if we were good, I would get vaccinated. I'm obviously paraphrasing there, but he's like, if I was playing for a contender, I would probably consider getting the vaccine, but at this point, I really don't see a reason to. So you know what? To each their own, man.
I did not hear that until now. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
No,
no, he
that's
literally
crazy.
said like, "Oh, maybe if we were on a contender or
That's,
whatever."
I mean,
But
that's pretty insulting to your team, regardless
yeah,
of like your beliefs. But
no, I
uh,
100% agree. But
yeah, I mean, it's
anyways,
what it's 10. I think it's 10 out of like 26 active
hmm
players. So that's
yeah,
I think
they're
probably the highest ratio we've seen be exposed by kind of the
oh
Toronto
yeah,
rules.
oh
So,
without a doubt.
um,
Well, and
yeah,
what I watch baseball today on John Boy Media every day. Kind of how I got inspired to do the show actually. And Chris Rose put it pretty bluntly. The U.S. has the same vaccine rules as Canada does. You can't cross the border without being vaccinated. So all of the if the Blue Jays had an unvaccinated player, they would be in worse shape than
hmm,
any of the teams that have to go and play the Blue Jays. So it's not
right,
really an
yeah,
unfair advantage. I mean, if you want to play for the Blue Jays, you pretty much have to be vaccinated at this point. So otherwise, you'd missed 81 games. You'd miss half the season because you can't travel to the U.S. So
yeah.
yeah, dude, this lineup is hilarious, man. I legitimately couldn't tell you. Nick Prado got called up. That's cool. Went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, but they beat the Blue Jays 3-1, getting back on track. The Blue Jays just fired their manager, Charlie Montoyo. They have been, in my opinion, the streakiest team in baseball. That's what I've dubbed them this year. They seem to get red hot and just win every game, and then they get ice cold and lose every game. There's been no in between. So after the move firing Charlie Montoyo and everything, can the Blue Jays turn it around and still be, a contending playoff team? This is a team a lot of people thought could win the World Series this year. I assume they're going to be buyers at the trade deadline just like they were last year. Are they able to make a comeback, do you think, or are they cooked?
I don't know, man, because what this kind of speaks to me, like this hot and cold, is something. Don't get me wrong, the Blue Jays are a way better team than the Angels. Like I want to just make that very clear. But this hot and cold nature of the team, kind of like I've known a team like that for years, and so to predict that they'll make the playoffs. I mean, this division's very good, so they could very well still sneak in there. But I guess the question for me is not so much like if they make it. I'm erring on the side of no if they continue, to be so streaky, like you say. But for me, it's more of the sense of like how will they? I think they'll get knocked out immediately, even if they do. So it's this is like you said, this is a team that was picked to potentially be World Series contenders or favorites. So they're definitely disappointing me. I think they have a lot of issues from the starting rotation. Really only got like two strong guys in there. Their bullpen. And I think as well, like their lineup is to me, like I don't know, I think their lineup should be producing a lot more runs in like offense than it is. I think you've argued before, right, that maybe they're not as. What do you think about
Well,
their
yeah,
lineup?
I
What's your
I feel
opinion?
like coming into this season, everybody saw the Blue Jays as this massive powerhouse. Like the AL East was running through Toronto. This was a World Series favorite team. I felt like they were good. I felt like they had a good offseason, but I look at this team and I look at last year's team and I really don't see that much of an improvement. Like Matt Chapman, even when the move was made, I was like, it doesn't make them better. It makes their third base defense better. That was it. They were losing Marcus Semien, who shouldn't have won a Gold Glove, but he won a Gold Glove at second base. Was third in the MVP voting. So they lost an MVP caliber bat and replaced him with a defense first third baseman who couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Let's just call it what it is. Matt Chapman is rough offensively. And the rest of the lineup just can't pick up the slack. Like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had so much protection batting next to Marcus Semien last year. We know Bo Bichette's a stud, but outside of that, George Springer is an injury concern waiting to happen. Um, he's been great when he's been healthy, but every single year it feels like he finds himself on the injured list at least twice. So I just
Yeah.
don't think they have enough depth on this squad. We've seen it. That's the Angels' main problem right now is after this top of the lineup, there's just no like where's the beef, you know? That's
Yeah,
the best way I can describe it. And then we
I
all know their
gotcha.
bullpen sucks. It always has. They got Yimi Garcia in the offseason. Outside of that, Jordan Romano's pretty good. Everybody else in this bullpen is just batting practice. It's awful. They signed Sergio Romo from the Mariners, who was literal batting practice. Like the Angels were
Yeah.
hitting him. That's how batting practice he was. So
Yeah, and when you're
yeah.
potentially like think about like if they did make the playoffs, right? Like hypothetically,
hmm
and they sneak their way in there with a bullpen like that. I mean, if unless they like maybe buy at the trade deadline and get some arms in there, like they like Sergio Romo facing the Yankees, the Astros, like that's
Oh,
a death
that's not
sentence.
gonna fly.
So that's I mean they'll fly for sure, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not impressed with Toronto at this moment. I think that's pretty embarrassing. The C squad of the Royals took the victory today or
Yeah.
yesterday. So
I mean,
yeah,
getting back to the original question, it's really hard to say this team's cooked when I look at the roster, but there's just so many holes, man. Like it's the Swiss cheese of rosters. There's just holes all over the place. The back end of the rotation, outside of the 1 and 2 spot with Gossman and Manoah, is just trash, literal garbage. Jose Barrios can beat up on bad teams. Like he's pitched great against the Tigers. He pitched great against the Twins, who were missing some of their best players with COVID. Who did he recently pitch well against? I think it was the Phillies, the unvaccinated Phillies, who were missing like JT Romito, Alec Boehm, and some other guys.
hmm
But man, 100 Ryu's on the DL or the injured list, and he, even when he's been healthy, hasn't been great. He's been kind of batting practice as well. Kikuchi hasn't been fantastic this year. They have two guys in the rotation and one reliable reliever, and that's just not. And then a shallow lineup. That's just not a recipe for a playoff team. But we'll see, man. They still have some good
yeah.
players. They still have a decent farm system. They can, make some trades and try to bolster this lineup and roster. But I'll be
Totally.
honest, man. I don't see them, even if maybe they squeak into the playoffs, but I don't see them making a deep run.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Tough time to be a Blue Jays fan, but like I said, they're streaky. I'm sure by next week we'll be calling them a World Series team. That's
Yeah.
the nature of our show.
Yeah.
Moving over to another team that's been a little disappointing as of late, the San Diego Padres. Feels like a couple weeks ago we were talking about them possibly winning the NL West. Well, now they have not won a series since they swept the Diamondbacks on June 22nd. So here in mid-July, they've been losing all the series. They lost 3 of 4 in Colorado to the Rockies, who've been struggling as of late. And the Padres just can't seem to get it together. So as it stands right now, this team that we thought could possibly challenge the Dodgers to win the NL West, do you see them as a playoff team right now?
You know what? I don't. I think I think to be like go from in the span of a few weeks a team that I legitimately thought would contend for first in the West despite how good the Dodgers are to now to like about 10 games out of first place. They've got a lot of holes in their lineup and injuries. It's tough to say that this team will I don't think they're playing to the level. I mean, they're basically losing series to division rivals that are notoriously bad. Like 8 games under 500 in the Colorado Rockies. So I just think that can't fly. You can lose games to those teams, but like to lose like full series to teams like that
Yeah, you
and
got to win those.
consistently do so, that doesn't like what's going to happen when the team's good. That's something my dad would say. Is like, what are you going to do when the team's good? So it's just I don't know, man. It's not looking too good for me on my
That
end,
was
I
a
guess.
wonderful Pat Helmstetter impression.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pat. He watches a daily listener. He always comments when I forget to change the change the label of it.
Oh, he'll let you
But
know. Yeah.
yeah, I tend to agree. That should be our catchphrase. I tend to agree. We're gonna put it on a shirt or something. But yeah, the Padres, man. I think when they get Tatis back, they will be definitely in the mix. I wouldn't count them out, but I could definitely see a very similar ending to last season as this season. Kind of like a
Mhm.
September-ish collapse. I don't know. It's tough. For some reason, the Padres just never feel like, no matter how many big names they acquire, AJ Preller loves signing big names. He loves spending money. He loves making trades. It just never seems to work out for them. The Justin Upton signing, the Will Myers, the Eric Hosmer. I'm trying to think of the other big trades. I mean, he just loves making moves, and I'm sure he'll make a ton of moves at the trade deadline to try to bolster this team, but we've seen what they're capable of. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say they sneak into the playoffs. I'm going to say third
Okay.
wild card spot, San Diego Padres. Book it.
All right.
Put some money on it.
Come back to it.
Yeah.
Have to see, man.
All right, we're about to get out of here, but last but not least, the Home Run Derby contestants have been finalized. If you guys aren't aware of them, let me go through them real quick. Kyle Schwarber, Albert Pujols, Juan Soto, Jose Ramirez, Corey Seager, Julio Rodriguez, Pete Alonso, and Ronald Acuna Jr. Give me your picks. I just want give me your full bracket. I made my bracket. I think you made yours. Just what are your predictions? What do you got?
All right, I will start. So Schwarber and Pujols. Schwarber, like
Yeah,
that's probably
Pujols.
the most confident.
Just
I
gonna
know
come
it's
out
sad,
and tip his hat.
yeah, I mean it is what it is. I don't really necessarily love it the more I think about it, but regardless, Schwarber, so Soto and Ramirez. I think that I think there's an argument to be said that like maybe Ramirez could be a sneaky guy there, but I don't know. I'm going with Soto on that one. Seager and Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez will take that. And then Alonso and Acuna, I'm gonna go with Alonso. I want Acuna to take it just because I think it'll be more interesting. But I think realistically, then we got Schwarber and Soto. Round two, we got Schwarber and Soto. I think Soto will take it, but I don't know. That could be close. I like Schwarber's offensive production this year, so if he can bring that to the field, who knows? Two lefties there. And then we got Rodriguez and Alonso, and as exciting as Rodriguez is, I still think Alonso's going to take it. And then final round, we got Soto and Alonso, and I'm going with Alonso. I don't know, man. I again, like, I feel like that's kind of a boring answer, and I don't really want to have it, but I just think I don't know, man.
I'm just laughing because we have the exact same bracket, except for
really?
I have a different winner. So here's my reasoning.
Okay.
We got Schwarber's obviously going to beat Pujols. I don't know if anything in the entire history of the universe would shock me more than Albert Pujols and his 50-year-old body and 6 home runs this season beating out Kyle Schwarber, one of the best power hitters in all of baseball. Soto and Ramirez, that is the key matchup here. I could see that going either way. And I'm curious to see, since Jose Ramirez is a switch hitter, I don't know when the last time we saw a switch hitter in the home run derby was. Maybe Nick Swisher.
Yeah.
I'm curious if he's gonna, take, switch sides or not. It'd be kind of interesting. I think he should get Pat Venditti out there, throw righty and lefty to him.
Oh, nice.
Get the matchup
that would be
going.
super cool.
But I don't know, man. Jose Ramirez and Juan Soto, that is a matchup there. Two of the best hitters in baseball, two of the best swings in baseball. So I'm very curious to see that one. I could see it going either way, but I did pick Soto. I agree with you. I think, he had the home run derby last year. Players usually aren't great in their first home run derbies. So next we got Seager and Rodriguez. I got Julio Rodriguez just like you. Pete Alonso is going to beat Acuna, sadly. I think Acuna could put up like 20 home runs and he's still going to lose because Pete Alonso's just that guy. He's just that guy.
Good, yeah.
Schwarber and Soto, I think, is definitely going to be a close one, but I am going to give it to Soto. I think he's the better hitter. I think Schwarber might, start to tense up a little bit, start hitting some pop flies that don't quite clear the wall. And then I got, like I said, Soto and Alonso in the finals, but I'm giving it to Juan Soto. I think he learned a lot from last year's home run derby. He obviously had a great second half last year, so he was excited to compete this year. I think he's going to work at it. I think he's going to have a better home run derby this time. Maybe get some work with his pitcher. I remember his pitcher was pretty bad last year, if I recall. So I think he's going to win this year, and I'll be at the home run derby to celebrate my victory when I'm correct.
All right. Yeah. Here's a quick little question for you. I think it'd be fun. Do you see any of these people leaving the field, like leaving Dodger Stadium?
If anybody, I would say Pete Alonso.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Maybe Acuna. Acuna hit some moonshots.
I think he could. Yeah.
I honestly, okay, so, it doesn't have to be one person. I think Schwarber's going to leave the yard. I think Pete Alonso's going to leave the yard. I think Acuna's going to leave the yard. And I think Julio Rodriguez could be a sleeper to leave the yard. And we're talking like over the bleachers. Are we talking hitting the roof or are we talking clearing the roof?
Let's say hitting or clearing. Like I think
hitting the roof, I think all those guys can hit the roof.
Yeah.
I think Pete Alonso is the only one I have faith in who could clear it. Because that dude just you saw
like
him hit some. Yeah, that's why I'm pissed, bro. Stanton could have been still on an upward trajectory when it cleared the top of the bleachers, but I was so pissed. But
it'll be fun, bro. I'm excited. Be fun to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait. I'm going to be there. I'll be vlogging it. Frank's hopefully going to help me edit it. I'll have some scheduled upload for you guys this week, but thank you guys for watching this episode of Good Morning Baseball. Sorry about my voice being a little raspy. Shout out to Thrive Fantasy for the merch, and use promo code NMR when you sign up at Thrive Fantasy. Get 100% first deposit match up to $100. And yeah, don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe for more daily MLB content. We'll be coming at you with some more Good Morning Baseball. I'll just be in an undisclosed location for our next few episodes. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching. I will see y'all in the next one. I hope you have a great rest of your day.